Hello and welcome back to this episode of Math. I am your host, Mr. Miller. We're going to finish our exponent rules. Today is the first day back after spring break, Monday, April 13th, 2020. So we're going to review our rules of exponents. So the directions here say simplify. So there's two ways that I've taught us to go about it. Whichever way works for you is fine. We're going to simplify x to the 8th over x squared. So what I want us to think about is really how many do we have over the other? Okay, so let's go this way. We know that we have 8 on the top, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Over how many? 2, 1, 2. Okay, now that we made it this far, what we can do is we can cross out and cancel what we have that's the same. So this x and this x on the top there, those are going to cancel out, right? One on the top, one on the bottom. That'll make a 1 disappear. This x and this x, well, again, that'll cross out the x over the x. That'll make a 1, so those will cancel. So what's left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we're left with is x to the 6 over 1, or x to the 6th. Either way will work. Okay. Now, another way we can do it is if it's positive on the bottom and we bring it up to the top, it'll become a negative. Say what? Okay, maybe you want to learn it this way instead. Let's try this. Okay. We have x to the 8th over x squared, right? Okay. Well, what we can say is we can rewrite it and say, okay, Mr. Miller, we have an x squared on the bottom. This is going to turn into our x to the 8th. But when you have a 2 on the bottom, if it's positive and you bring it up, it becomes a negative. And you can put the negative 2 there. And say, okay, this now turns into a 1. Okay, well, this is 8 minus 2, and 8 minus 2 is equivalent to 6. So this is x to the 6th, again, over 1. So whichever way works. If you like the method here, where you can cross them out, and you go through and you cross out what's the same, and you realize that you're left with 6 on the top, that'll work. Or if you want to use this exponent rule and realize, hey, wait a minute, there's a 2 on the bottom, there's an 8 on the top, this can be turned into a negative 2. This would be 8 minus 2, which turns into 6. So you'd get x to the 6th. Either way, both of these are correct, whichever way you would like to do it that works for you. Last but not least, let's take a look at this guy real quick. We got to break this into two parts. I would break it first into everything with a whole number. This would be 4 over 2. Okay, times. Now we've got y to the 7 over y to the 3rd. That makes our life a heck of a lot easier. Okay, now take a look at this. What is this? That's 4 divided by 2, Mr. Miller. Okay, 4 divided by 2 is just the whole number of 2. And if you want to write 2 over 1, absolutely you can. Okay, and we can do our trick with the y's and say we got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Over 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, what do we got? That y and that y will cancel. This y and this y will cancel. This y and this y will cancel. What are we left with? Why? I am glad you asked. Oh boy. Okay. Well, there's 4 y's. So this would be 2, and this would be y, and there would be 4 of them. And it is over 1. Or you could just say 2y to the 4th. Okay. Either one of these is correct. Okay. Alternatively, if you want to do the exact same thing we did before, say, wait a minute, Mr. Miller, we can do the subtraction. Absolutely we can. We're going to get y to the 7 over y to the 3rd. You want to do the subtraction, bring them up. So we're going to get, this is equivalent to y to the 7 minus 3. And that's going to get us y to the 4th. And of course, you still have your 2 in front, so it would be 2y to the 4th. Whichever way works for you, both of these are correct.